Yeah, we all know Brandon Sanderson is really good and that we should read him, but like, can I get some other recommendations? Hello, welcome back to my channel. So this week I decided I wanted to do something slightly different, and as you could already tell from the title, that is going to be a recommendations video. But I didn't want to just sit down and recommend you the same old that every other channel out there has recommended to you the past 50 years. I mean, yeah, we all know Brandon Sanderson is really good and that we should read him, but like, can I get some other recommendations? So in this video, I will not once be recommending you to read Brandon Sanderson beyond this exact moment in time, which is go read Brandon Sanderson, he's really good. Instead, I am going to give you 13 recommendations of adult fantasy books that I am pretty dang sure you have never heard of. Now, I am doing them in a sort of order, so I have 13 books that I'm going to be talking about with you all that I really want to read. I haven't read any of them, and that's the twist. I haven't read any of them, but all of them are 5-star predictions for me. Hopefully you guys will like them too. Let's get started. I'm going to start by talking about the most popular one leading down into the least popular one, and the way I have decided popularity is by looking at Goodreads and seeing how many reviews and ratings each of the books has. The way I have determined whether or not you guys have heard of a book is that they all have under 1,000 reviews. Actually, all of them have under 600 reviews, and some of them even have as few as 5 reviews. Start out right now. I'm going to be looking at my computer down here while I'm talking to you all about these books, and I apologize if this goes a little bit long. Trust me, I think all these books are worth checking out. So the first one we're going to be talking about is A Time of Dread by John Gwynne. I own Malice by this author, but I have not read it yet, and this book is the most popular one on this list. Like I said, we're starting out with the most popular one. This book is described as a multiple POV kind of dark angel fantasy book, and normally I kind of stay away from the word angel, dark angel, fallen angel, all of that stuff, because I think it can get a little bit Cassandra Clare-esque, but I think this one is actually going to be very, very good. So there's multiple POVs, the world is in chaos, there's going to be a lot of political intrigue between these different parties as they interact on Earth. It sounds like there is a race of warrior angels who are sent to defeat this mighty demon king thing. There's going to be a lot of dark elements. Like, there's one line in the description that talks about these mutilated corpses in the forest, and that's just in the summary. So the next book that I will be talking about is the only one on this list I actually own, and that is 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City by KJ Parker, who is the pseudonym for Tom Holt. And let me tell you, at this current moment, I have not read anything by KJ Parker, but by the end of October, I am planning on having had read a lot of his stuff. I'm really excited to be picking this one up. I read the description and it was an instant save for me. I was like, this could be my new favorite book. I mean, sorry, you didn't hear that. Legacy of Ash will always be my favorite book ever, but this could be up there. I don't know. So the description describes this book as, oh my goodness, I dropped my water bottle. To save the city will take a miracle, but what it has is Orhan. Colonel of Engineer, Orhan has far more experience with bridge building than battles, is a cheat and a liar, and has a serious problem with authority. He is, in other words, perfect for the job. And it's really, really not that super long of a book. I think it's 350 pages. It is marked on Goodreads as humor, war, and historical fiction. I mean, its top genre is fantasy. I'm curious. Oh my god, I keep smacking things in this video. The next book that I'll be talking about is The Sword of Gan by M.L. Wang. I hope I'm saying Kagan correctly. So this one caught my eye because it has a mother as the main character. I do believe it is multiple POVs, but the first line says, a mother struggling to repress her violent past, a son struggling to grasp his violent future, a father blind to the danger that threatens them all. And I love that. I feel like so many times in fantasies we follow middle-aged men or teenage men, and every once in a while we get a teenage girl. But when is the last time you read a mother in a fantasy? Don't answer that question because I've actually read 2 of them in the past few months. Actually, I don't think. You know what? I take that back. The Tiger's Daughter, she's not a mom, but she's a middle-aged woman. I'm thrilled by this book. It sounds so good to me. I'm always on the hunt for fantasy written by minorities, being written by own voices. I think it's so fantastic. So this one is high on my list for me to pick up. I have only heard good things about it. On Goodreads, it has a 4.47. What? That is almost unheard of. I'm gonna check this one out really soon. The next book that I have to recommend to you all is called The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. And I think this is when we're gonna start really getting into some books that you haven't heard of. Because I feel like the last 3 you might have heard of, but like weren't totally sure about. But the rest of these, boy, if you've heard of these, let me know down below. So The Ember Blade, I actually do have my hands on, but I have my hands on the e-copy, so I cannot show it to you very well, is about this young man's journey to find his destiny. Yeah, we've all heard that anyways. So Aaron has lived by the rules all of his life. He's never quite questioned it, and that's the way things are. But his father's executed for treason, and he and his best friend Cade are thrown into a prison mine, doomed to work until they drop, unless they can somehow break free. I don't know about you, but like, throw people into a prison and I'm there. I am at that fantasy. I'm reading that book. I want to see them struggle. I want to see them break out. I want to see them steal shit. Like, put me in a prison setting any day of the week. I'm there for it. Plus, I just love when you go into the Goodreads like genres and you see fantasy, epic fantasy, high fantasy as the top 3 of a genre, and that's what this book has. But as of right now, you can buy this book for $2.99 on Amazon, so check it out. The next one I'm excited to talk about is The Necessary Beggar by Susan Polwick. And this one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buddy reading really soon. So stay tuned to see what I think about it. But I mean, come on, it has the word beggar in the title. I mean, we already just agreed that I'm there for it. So this book is about a glorious city. It is a place of peace and plenty, but there is a young person who has been accused of murdering a highborn woman, and he has chosen the life of a beggar in order to have forgiveness. So his entire family must share his punishment or be exiled to the unknown world. This is a not so distant future, American future society. They're talking about a country that has been torn apart by hatred and war. They're trying to cope with surrender and despair. They're trying to preserve their tradition and their culture, and yet all along the way try to find that familial bond and come together through grief and hope. It's also not that long. It's 320 pages, fantasy, but underneath that it is described as speculative fiction, which I find my fantasy / speculative fiction, when it has that combination, is so good, and it really makes you think. This one has won a few different awards. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I wish I could see more people reading this book because it sounds so good. So the next one we're going to be talking about is The Thousand Deaths of Ardor Ben, and this is written by Tyler Whitesides, and I'm looking forward to this one because literally all I read of the description before adding it to my 5-star predictions list was, "I'm hiring you to steal the king's crown." Yeah, I'm there for that. Also, underneath its genres, it is fantasy, dragon, crime. Yeah! Ardor Ben is no ordinary thief. Rakish, ambitious, and master of wild, complex heist. He styles himself a ruse artist extraordinaire. When a priest hires him for the most daring ruse yet, Ardor knows he'll need more than quick wit and sleight of hand. Assembling a dream team of forgers, disguisers, schemers, and thieves, he sets out to steal from the most powerful king the realm has ever known. I love that. I love heists. I love a group of people coming together to steal something. I think it's gonna be so good. As soon as I can get my hands on it, I'm gonna get my hands on it and I'm going to read it. You're not gonna be able to see this. It's gonna be right here. The cover looks really cool. There's like this dragon skull on it. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is City of Strife by Claude Arsenault. And this one is basically next on my list of things I need to read because it was recommended to me because it was a heist book and because it had every single type of LGBTQ plus representation that you could think of, yet it wasn't forced in or felt uncomfortable. I was told it had a sexual representation. I was told it had trans representation. It had all of the letters represented. I haven't read the book, so I cannot tell you how true that is. So it sounds like there's this man who returns to his home city and starts to form up this trio of friends, and then he is accused of an infamous assassination, and his peaceful life has been shattered, and he has to try to pull himself back together. Then we're also going to be following this noble family who knew him before he disappeared and went on the run, and I think we're going to be kind of finding out more about his past, about slavery, magic, treatment of humans. Watch the ripple of actions kind of reach out and touch other people. And it is going to be a trilogy. This is what the end of the summary says. City of Strife is the first installment of the City of Spires trilogy, a multi-layered political fantasy led by an all LGBTQIAP+ cast. Fans of complex storylines crisscross one another, elves and magic and strong friendship and found family will find everything they need within these pages. And it's only 375 pages, so like pick it up today. The next book we're going to be talking about is Blood of Heirs by Alicia Wanstall Burke. And so this cover, I like this cover. I like it a lot. It's what made me pick it up. I like symmetry. I think it's pretty. Anyways, moving on. You can get this one currently on Kindle Unlimited for free, so check that out. So the first bit of this book is talking about this Lyndon Tolak, and she's the fiercest warrior of her father's daughters. And then one day her father, apparently he has multiple wives, gets one of his wives pregnant, and this daughter is worried that he might have a son, and she's going to have to fight for some kind of position of power. So she's forced to prove her worth. And then we're following this other person named Rannoth Olseta. Rannoth Olseta, shortened to Ran, who becomes the city's savior and is then forced to go on the run. People going on the run excites me. They're both facing an unknown future and are both fighting unfamiliar things in their lands, and it seems like they're gonna have to come together at some point and work together. It does say that it has a romance that takes place inside of it. It is definitely an adult fantasy. It says that like right at the top, and it's only 335 pages. So like all you people out there complaining about all these long fantasies, go check it out. The next one is of course another one I'm really excited about, and that is the Ranger of Marasna, which is written by John Skolvron. This is a Russian story, Russian inspired, but also I believe the author is Russian written, I guess. We're following two siblings who are going down opposite paths of each other when their father is murdered. One of them is set to destroy the empire, one of them is set to save it. Sonia, who is being trained as a ranger of the Marasna, and then her brother Sebastian, who is the most powerful sorcerer in the world, and one of them is fighting against the empire, one of them is fighting for the empire, and I think that they are going to come at a head with each other. I'm sorry, I think all these covers are gorgeous, but this one is really, really gorgeous. Underneath the genres, one of the things that is listed is horror / zombies, and I'd really like to see how that is encompassed into an adult fantasy work. Woo-hoo-hoo, we're making it down the list, only 4 left to go. So the next one on here is called Cains Rising, written by Darian Smith. This is one of the books that I read the first like bit of the blurb and I added it, and I didn't read any on past it. So the beginning of the blurb says, solve the murder, stop the war, save the world. And so what I've been told is that this book is, there is a murder, a crime that happens, and the main character has to solve it. So it's kind of like you're going through a mystery crime novel, but it's set in a fantasy realm, and I am there. I literally can't tell you anything else about this book. Actually, one more thing I can tell you, it is also free if you have Kindle Unlimited. Moving on to the next one, this is called 7 Ways to Kill a King by Melissa Wright. Why is no one talking about this book? She was born a princess, they made her an assassin. 1 was an accident, 2 was a coincidence, by 3 they would know. I don't even know what that means, and I'm so on board with this. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, I just read the summary and I'm about to tell you what this book is about. So this woman is awakened one day. She's a princess and she is trained to be an assassin, and she is sent off to assassinate all 7 kings in this realm. She is called the Shadow Princess. She has royal bloodlust. So this is the only book on the list that is actually considered young adult before it's considered adult. So when you look at the genres on Goodreads, which people put onto books, you can sometimes see that there will be books that are labeled adult and then underneath are labeled young adult. And so I generally consider them adult if adults first. This one is labeled young adult first. So I would like to say that because technically this video is all about adult fantasy, but I still think from the description that it sounds really good. Hopefully it's not gonna be like Throne of Glass where I think it's gonna be an assassin and then it's really all about dresses. 2 more. Okay, so for these last 2, there is something a little bit special about them, and that is neither of these books have been published yet. So a lot of the hype behind them hasn't happened. So I think that both of these ones that are coming out in the next year will get a lot more hype, a lot more reviews and ratings before they come out. But I'm so excited about both of them, and right now on Goodreads, one of them has 10 reviews, one of them has 5, so I want to come and talk to you about them. Both of them are being released by Orbit, and I am trying to get both of them on NetGalley. It is the Unbroken by C.L. Clark, and is marked as having LGBTQ plus representation. I haven't totally explained if all of them have that or not, but this one, it's like the second marking underneath the fact that it's a fantasy. And so this one says, in a political fantasy unlike any other, C.L. Clark spins an epic tale of rebellion, espionage, and military might on far out reachings of crumbling desert empire. Toraine is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the empire. Her only loyalty is to her fellow conscripts, but now her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone desperate enough to tiptoe the bayonet's edge between treason and order, someone who can sway the rebels towards peace. When Luca focuses on what really matters, getting her uncle off the throne. Through assassination and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Toraine and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. And I would like to say, before we continue on to the next book, that from the main cover, it appears that a lot of the representation is going to be black and or dark-skinned characters. Girl on the main cover is dark-skinned, and I think that that is wonderful, and I'm really, really excited, which will be awesome because C.L. Clark is also a black woman. So the final one that I have on this list is called The Mask of Mirrors, and it is written by M.A. Carrick, which is a pseudonym for Marie Brennan, who is the author who wrote A Natural History of Dragons. This is the one that I've already requested on NetGalley. A dark and magical story told about a con artist, a vigilante, and a crime lord. Are you guys noticing a pattern? I think I really just like crime. I think I'm just gonna quit my day job and go be a criminal, be a con artist. Just like, I'm not even gonna read books anymore. I'm just gonna commit crimes. Maybe the crimes I'll commit is stealing books. Nightmares are creeping through the city of dream. Oh, this one's gonna be really cool. It talks about 2 sisters who one of them is trying to do everything she can to make sure that the other one has a good life. I love the sister bond. I love seeing a relationship that is beyond romantic, where we're going to see some siblings taking care of each other. This one also is marked as LGBTQ plus and adult and urban. So I'm not the biggest fan of urban fantasies, but I think if you pair them well with the proper plot and the proper everything else, it's going to be a really, really good one. Also, some of the words in the summary are the poisonous feuds of its aristocrats and shadowy dangers. Can I have this book now? This book comes out in January of 2021. Cannot wait to get my hands on it. So yeah, those are all the books that I am really excited to be reading that I think are going to be 5 stars for me and that are adult fantasies that I don't think you've heard of yet. Let me know if you have actually heard of these. The whole entire premise of this video came up, I forgot to mention, because I love, love, love Legacy of Ash. It is my favorite book of all time, and it has barely any reviews, barely any acknowledgements online, and I've been reading some more independent authors this year, and I found that they have been some of the most unique and enjoyable stories, and I'm really making an effort moving forward to, yes, I want to read the big name published stuff, but I also want to read the not so well-known stuff, especially so I can bring it all to you and let you know how good it all is. thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you so much, and it really means a lot to me if you comment, like, or subscribe, or do any of the jazz, or just even watch this video. It means so much to me that each and every one of you has taken your time out to look at this recommendations list. Thank you for watching. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!